Hello everyone, today I decided to make a video about everything I know about Panshel, so hopefully this covers everything about the topic of the show in a video that hopefully won't be too lengthy. First we should start off at the beginning. So how did Panshel begin? Panshel is a character that actually has Japanese origins. His birthday is June 10th and he was illustrated by Masaru Hori, which is an illustrator for mascot licensing in Japan. He told me Panshel was first created somewhere around 1996. So Panshel has a counterpart being another character named Pandevi, who is a panda devil. They're explained as childhood friends here and both created by a panda god. You can pause to read this. Pandevi's birthday is on June 17th. So the show's production. Now that that's out of the way, we can begin on with the show. In 2006, in France, The Magical World of Panshel first aired on Gilly and then reran on Gilly 2, later airing on Pee-wee. Though I think the show might have been in production for a while between 2003 to 2005. For the animation promos, it states the date is 2003 to 2004, while the copyright was maybe developed in 2005. I'm not really sure, but in Master Hori's old blog, he states that he's already seen the finished animation and that it's taking a while to get the contract. This was probably around the time that Panshel was shown at MIPCOM, which is a trade show for the TV industry that's held in France. So on with the characters, there's 14 main pandas in the show that are also in Panshel's friend group. We have Panshel, Reddy, Big O, Dee, Sheila, Sheenie, Shell, Vinny, Lonnie, Uni, Annie, Jan, Bibi, and Penny. So these are all based off of Master Hori's past illustrations, which he had slightly different names for them. Their designs are also tweaked in the CGI animation to differentiate them from one another, while also trying to stay loyal to Hori's design. Also characters that were added in the show that I don't think Master Hori created, like Soul the Snake, Ilza the Snow Palandra or Snow Panther, Amal the Chobu, Bogar and Bagar from the Wild Chobu tribe, the Quaqua species, etc. Then we have Panda San, who I'm not really sure if Master Hori illustrated him or not, but I think he's pretty fond of his character. But the main question here is, what is the show about though? So the show is about Panshel being the only one in the village of pandas who can't fly, despite him having wings. The story goes on that in the night of the silver rain, when everybody was sleeping, there was a magical rain that covered every panda. Once they woke up, they were all gifted with wings to fly. But Panshel protected his siblings Uni and Annie from the rain unknowingly. So he went to Panda San to sacrifice his flying ability for theirs. Panda San tells him if he works hard enough, he too can get his flying ability back. Each episode consists of Panshel attempting to fly, but he mostly gets interrupted by the adventures he goes on with his friends. And this mostly continues throughout the entire series until you see the ending message.
مدیر دوبلاژ شوکت حجت دوبله شده در استودیو رهافیل دوبله و پخش از تصویر دنیای هنر.
So let's get on to something more interesting, so the different dubs. There's not many dubs of this show compared to most shows I've seen, but here's some that we have proof of existing. English, Persian, Portuguese, Malaysian, and Taiwan, I think. There's also dubs that I haven't seen sources of, like the Hindi and Cantonese dubs, which I'll get into those in a little bit. So the English dub was actually the first ever dub I watched on the show, about the show, via the Kid Mango site. If it weren't for the Kid Mango site existing, I guarantee I would have never found out about the show. The English dub is currently lost media except for one episode that's available on the Toons Media Group Vamo? I can never pronounce that word right. Oh well. And I think it's one of my favorite dubs of all time. We have OG anime English dub voice actors voicing this, and it sounds incredible. I'm just in love with all the it kind of sounds like it's one of those low budget anime English dub feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but
Why aren't you out there flying, huh, Sheila?
Well, I'm keeping Panshel company.
I think it's 'cause you know I'd beat you.
I'm not scared of you, Big O.
anyways. There's 3 DVDs that were sold in an Indian website called Flipkart, produced by Haiku Media, which is out of business now. And yes, we can't purchase them anymore. the English dub aired also in South Africa and Artis? I don't know what that island is called, I'm sorry. And India. Weirdly specific choices for regions, I guess, but it never aired on US TV. I think the only thing that would have been close to like a United States Panshel would have just been the Kid Manga website, even though we already have like American actors that voice the show. I also want to make this very clear. I contacted an animation studio named Toons Media Group, which they helped distribute the English dub. I think they were like in co-production. I mean, well, when you're making a cartoon, you get like, I guess like producers from everywhere around the world. But yeah, they helped distribute like the English dub and all that. They're an Indian animation company. So I asked them if they had any archives. I asked them a very long time ago. Asked them like, it's like probably like 6 or 9 months ago, something like that. I asked them, but yeah, they deleted it because their rights expired. I mean, to be fair, I don't blame them. It was all the way back in 2006 when this show aired. I'm not really sure when the English dub was actually made, but yeah, they deleted it. It's gone. I don't even know if we're gonna even find anything, like any archives of it at all on the internet. I think it's like actually legitimately lost, except for like that one episode. Malaysian dub aired on Econ TV2, which I found via a TV continuity video on YouTube that states the date is May 9th, 2016. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this is a fake promo. I mean, there's fake promos out there, but I don't think this is fake. This looks pretty real. This looks pretty genuine. Though I don't know if this aired in the actual like Malay language or if they were just airing the English dub in Malaysia. Since all that plays is like the intro music and then the narrator of the ad. But either way, I still want to see more, if possible, of this dub. Like, if anyone has any Econ TV2 recordings, love to see it. The Persian dub aired on Digitoon and was released on VCD, which is video CD, and can be found and watched on multiple different Iranian sites that I'll show here. And I've watched the entirety of this dub, believe it or not. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really find this dub to be that amazing in terms of voice acting, especially when they switched all the actors in the middle of the show's dubbing. At the end of the day, like, I've seen persons on different sites talk about the show and, you know, express that it was their childhood, and I think that's always a positive thing in the end. And then there's Portuguese dub, which I actually have a physical copy of. So far as I know, it was only available on DVDs, and so far as I can find, there's only 4 that were marketed in total. I have no idea if they discontinued the dub or if there's more Portugal DVDs out there, but so far I can't find anything anymore after Volume 4. So the voice actors are identified, and they actually added lyrics to the theme song, which had me so surprised when I first heard it, like when I first got the DVD. I think it's like the best altered version of the intro out there, since all the other dubs just kind of leave it as it is. As for the last of the dubs that we have existing is the Mandarin dub. So I couldn't find anything on this. There's a few articles published that talk about Chinese and Taiwanese people helping to distribute the show. This is actually common when an animation is made, so typically there would be like worldwide help, whether it's slating, animating, render design, sponsors, etc. But even though I couldn't find anything, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I talked to Harry Marteshka, aka Kevin Monk, a writer for the English dub, about the Disney Channel Taiwan dub, and he told me that he wrote episodes for it. Funnily enough, he doesn't even remember an official English dub for it, while it does exist. He said he remembered there being mock-ups for it with American voices, but since every dub excluding French is based off of the English script, I wouldn't be surprised if they just translate it from English to Mandarin. Or maybe the Taiwan dub is just the English dub that aired in Taiwan. I mean, no one like really knows. You can't find anything on it. I'm like 99% sure this is lost media, and I don't think it's gonna get found anytime soon, to be honest. And now we have the 2 languages that I can't find anything on, Cantonese and Hindi, so I can't find any sources on these. I wouldn't be surprised if these did exist, especially Hindi, because the English dub has already aired on Cartoon Network India and Pogo TV, which is where the Hindi dub is supposedly like claimed to air on too. Toons Media Group, keep in mind they are an Indian company, like an Indian animation studio. So, why wouldn't they want to expand on the Hindi language of like a dub if they already made the English dub too? So yeah, that does seem plausible. It does seem like it could be a thing, But I think like any searches between Hindi and Cantonese dubbing, like it all leads to a dead end. Like for Mandarin or the Taiwan dub, I could at least find like 2 tiny sources, but for Cantonese and Hindi, literally nothing. Literally not a single thing. I can't find anything. But if anyone does have sources for these, I'd love to see them. Sorry to be pessimistic or anything, but I legit think these are so deep into lost media if they do exist. I don't think we're gonna find them, like, at least not in a million years. Like, legitimately cannot find anything. All leads to a dead end. Now we're gonna get into the most interesting and the most saddest part of the video. This is so sad, guys. So what we could have had. Master Hori explains in the collection of these Panshel posts about how he felt during the production and what went on during the time, like as far back as 2000, like the year 2000. A big thing I think is just so surprising to me is that he had tried to sell Panshel merchandise in the US and implied like maybe that's what drove him to ask for a show, because merchandise was not selling in the US like he wanted it to, maybe. It starts off by saying, I had several kinds of stationery on sale in America. Not selling at all. What would you do to sell in America? Start planning an anime adaptation. And I couldn't find anything on merchandise selling in America in general, but there was this article stating that Panshel has made a quote-unquote global rollout, and that they wanted to expand Panshel's name in North America. Do you know like how big that could have been, like Panshel being popular in North America? That would have been amazing, especially for me since I'm from the US. So anyways, they go on to say that the licensing was very laid back, which I can respect. In the year 2000, it popped up in one unknown outlet store, which was unnamed. The rest was sold on the web. They had a catalog, and a production company still needs to render the series and make it happen, which it didn't launch in fall 2001. Too bad. It didn't even happen until it aired in 2006, but I bet you can guess like where this is going. It tanked in America. I don't want to get into like how saddening this is. We could have had so much more on this. Like, would I say it's the fault of the people in New Jersey, like the licensing, because they were laid back? No, I mean, they were just testing it out, and it already didn't do well as a result of testing it out, so that's never a good thing. And there's more to the story, by the way. Though the posts go on. Anime production company in Los Angeles will be making the anime. First we start gathering sponsors. Then there's a mention that the president of the meeting will ask Mark Hamill to be a voice actor of the show. He mentioned he was in decline at the time, which he wasn't really doing so well as an actor, like popular-wise. However, because we couldn't get enough sponsors, we stopped talking with Los Angeles Anime Production. Which, by the way, I just want to make it clear, Master Hori, he says anime, he means cartoon, because in Japan they call animation anime. Just want to make that clear. When I was disappointed, my sponsor raised his hand. A major publisher in Soho, New York, said that we would do it, so we restarted an animation production. This really seemed like such a big thing, because Panshel could have actually ended up as an American original cartoon instead of French original. It seemed like in June 2001 he was excited with this meeting. Their cartoon would be in production in September, though he was back to square one again when the tragic 9/11 happened. And I guess I can only assume that maybe they canceled his production for good, because he said he was back to square one. Maybe the event it affected a lot of people, so maybe they just canceled it on him. He basically lost all hope at this point, but an LA sponsor, I can only assume, directed him to a French company who, with the support of the actual French government, collected funds to create the series in France and China, which they say China here, so maybe it's referring to the Cantonese dub. I don't really know, but this probably is like evidence of the Cantonese dub, maybe. And from there, that's how, according to him, the production was made. The production costs were taken up with only 11 episodes, so the total cost of the production was taken up with 11 episodes total, so the rest was just, I'll give you like a side by side. I've noticed this. I don't know if other people noticed this. And this is incredibly interesting to me. He stated that making a Japanese adaptation was impossible. I don't actually know the reasons for a Japanese original character like Panshel, like not getting an anime adaptation or at least a Japanese dub on his own show. The reasons were never explained. I don't know why, maybe they just didn't want to. But with the conclusion of this video, there's good news for Panshel, and hopefully will take the lead in Panshel's future as a franchise. So very recently, there's been a spark of interest in Panshel again in Japan for nostalgia purposes, and the fact that Panshel used to be a popular character in Harajuku way back in the late 90s. A pop-up shop for limited time has recently happened in Shibuya, which is a great thing. I was like so excited when I found out about this. I don't even live in Japan, but I was just, this was just like so amazing, honestly. So in the future, like maybe 2025, maybe after 2025, something will happen again with Panshel, maybe. So you've reached the end of the video. That's basically why I'm making this video, because I've had an extreme hyperfixation on the show for about 9 months now, and I never really talked to anyone who grew up with watching the show. Like, I never really like contacted anyone online. Like, well, I never like seen anyone online being like, hey, I watched this all the time when I was younger. And so yeah, I just want to make people more aware about this franchise because I think it's awesome. I love it. So thanks to everybody for staying around. If you did, kind of a boring talker, and I stuttered a lot, but I wanted to make a video essay. It's my first video essay ever that's informative on the topic of the show and short. I didn't want to make it drawn out or anything like that. So thanks everybody for staying around. Yeah.